And welcome back, everyone, to Who Would Win, the week Who Would Win. And today's Who Would Win comes to us from Gaming with Leia and Michael Carter, who asked the question, who will win in a fight, Freddy Krueger versus the Slender Man? Two characters who I've had God knows how many times. It's kind of gone, I've gone a little crazy at this point. But no, seriously. Okay, look, we know Freddy Krueger, child murderer and possible pedophile, depends on the recent rebooted version you look at or the original. It's a very much implied he was a pedophile too, but we know for a fact he was at least a child murderer. The parents came and got the revenge. They burned him alive, except he did not die. Well, he died, but he didn't. He came back. The guys who gave me this job, the Dream Demons. I have all of the Nightmare on Elm Streets sitting over there. I got it for Halloween as like a gift one year, and I have yet to even crack it open. One of these days, I gotta, when I'm working on stuff in my room, just put stuff on the TV in the background and start rewatching some shit. I gotta start getting back into doing that. Because I literally have a huge-ass collection of DVDs there that I've collected over the years. I'd love to still go back to collecting DVDs, but between the digital age and just how busy I am in finances, it's not as easy as it used to be anymore. I think the last DVD I got was The Gentleman, which is still fantastic. That's a good. Gotta get my girlfriend to watch The Gentleman. I gotta get her to watch because that's a fantastic movie. I digress. So anyway, Freddy Krueger, we know he's the Sandman. So you have the Boogeyman with Michael Myers. I'm actually not quite sure what the analogy for Jason is. Jason, because he's more or less a revenant by the end of it. You have like the Boogeyman and then other kind of scary creatures. Then you have the Sandman, which is what Freddy is. He lives and exists in the dream world. And in the dream world, he is God. This is God. Seriously, that is basically his shtick. He can do whatever he wants, manipulate dreams however he wants to manipulate them. Even if you're able to lucid dream, it doesn't really matter much in the face of his power. It can help a little bit, but you really need to have a strong will and imagination to be able to really overtake him in the dream world. Now, in other parts of the series, it is revealed he gets his strength from the souls he's killed and kind of consumed. And as he says, I can't come back if nobody's afraid. For the longest time, I was always under the apprehension that fear was a big thing for Freddy, and that you being unafraid of him weakened him. And to a certain degree, that is true. You not having fear of him definitely doesn't help for him. It definitely weakens him, but it's not the same as Pennywise, who literally, if you're not afraid of him, could just be turned into this very weak being. Freddy, on the other hand, he can still operate. It's just his powers are diminished. He's also does have some severe weaknesses, particularly if you're able to pull him out of the dream world. If you're able to pull him out of the dream world, there's not much he can really do. He's got about the same level of strength as a guy his size and build would have. Surprising levels of durability, though. Look at Freddy versus Jason for that. The guy continued to survive getting gutted, having an arm ripped off, and yet he kept going. So, durability-wise, he got a lot going for him. And I've always said, at least to a certain degree, that he does have a very minor level of reality warping in the real world. But I've had to backtrack on that over the years. Because the times he's been brought into the real world, there's really not been much going on that he's actually done. I will say this, he probably does have some minute level of power beyond just the physical. He can maybe remember, but the problem with I was about to say, remember the first one when he was like walking upstairs on fire and he was burning her mother to death, and then she is absorbed into the bed. The problem is that wasn't really the real world, was it? That was a dream within a dream. Because as we see by the ending, Freddy's still very much alive. So it's and then you can't really use Nightmare 2 because he's possessing someone. So it's very difficult to say whether or not he actually has any real power or not. But regardless, he's still, highly dangerous in his own domain. The Slender Man, created by Creepypasta, is one of the biggest figureheads of Creepypasta. He's also considered one of the strongest entities in Creepypasta. He's capable of driving individuals insane just by staring at him. He's kind of eldritch in that way. As you can see, he is capable of summoning tentacles out of his body, melting in shadows. He's very tall, large, and does apparently possess some physical strength beyond that of a normal human. In terms of what he is has always been up for debate. Some people say he's a demon. Some say he's a spirit. Some say he's a being known as a tulpa, a being that was created by the collective belief in something, willing it into existence. Whatever he is, he's very unique because depending on the story that you look at, Slender Man is either the ultimate evil, just an evil force, or actually misunderstood. Like, Slender Man isn't necessarily always depicted as evil. So it's difficult to say where he places on like an alignment spectrum at all. Generally speaking, though, he is portrayed as antagonistic or just straight out evil. The problem here immediately in a fight with these two is that this fight kind of can't happen. It can't happen without external forces bringing these two together. Because as far as we are led to believe, Slender Man doesn't sleep. Doesn't need to sleep. Doesn't have to sleep. And if he can't sleep, there's no fighting Freddy in the dream world. So, because if that's the case, if it's in the dream world somehow, some way, Freddy has the immediate edge there. But I imagine that edge might be taken out really quick just due to the fact that the Slender Man is a being that Freddy's never contended with. And while it has a personality and is sentient, is not someone who Freddy could easily exploit or anything like that. And also to the point that because it may be an alien, a spirit, whatever, it may have supernatural abilities. Being in the dream world might actually strengthen the Slender Man. There's no real way to say. But that's the hypothetical if Slender Man could fall asleep, which as far as I know, he doesn't sleep. So that would mean that Freddy would have had already been pulled into the real world and it comes across the Slender Man as he's chasing the kids. And at that point, Freddy might as well just bend over and kiss his ass goodbye. Because Freddy, among the slashers, Freddy is dangerous because of what he's really capable of doing with the dreams. Outside, in the real world, he is, frankly, not a problem. Just about any of the other slashers should be able to take him out. And that even includes someone like Leatherface, just because a chainsaw would be very problematic. Yeah, Freddy's just going to stab him in the neck or something like that. However, yeah, I mean, Michael, even Jason in the real world should be able to beat him. Now, again, Dream World is a very different scenario here. And if you're somehow able to get a physical amp in the real world, maybe we could talk. But the problem is he's never really able to get a physical amp in the real world. So the long and short of it is, Slender Man would take this fight without any real difficulty. But that's just because the fight would have to take place in the real world. If by some means Slender Man were able to fall asleep after hearing of Freddy, and therefore now being cognizant of who Freddy is, and him and Freddy faced off in the dream world, it would be a lot more in Freddy's favor, no doubt. The problem, again, is you just don't know what being in a dream world would do to an entity like this, whatever this entity is. So there's a good chance the dream world wouldn't just help him. It would backfire in Freddy's face. So I don't know. It's interesting to say the least. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. I would go Slender Man pretty much every day. Almost all day, every day. There are certain circumstances, if somehow as in the dream world, Freddy could win. But again, it's unknown how this being would react to such a circumstance. So I go Slender Man. Let me know what you think, though. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. And I'll see you guys next time.